This is a really serious video, guys, and I've got a lot to say.
Alright, welcome to part 2 of the Mind of Jake.
So I'm here to cut the shit once again!
A psychologist, if he is a sociopath.
It's time to talk about Shane Dawson. Alright, I'm Alex and welcome back to another video. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and I'm not gonna lie with this one. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting video because I've been watching the Shane Dawson documentary and the absolute fallout which has been happening since it's been posted, and the whole thing is just crazy. Which is kind of on topic. Shane Dawson is currently doing a documentary on Jake Paul called The Mind of Jake Paul, where he is trying to figure out why Jake Paul does the things he does. Is Jake Paul a sociopath? It's some hard-hitting stuff. It's some hard-hitting stuff for a YouTube documentary on a YouTuber. And currently it's received incredible praise. I think the documentary is an incredible piece of YouTube content, but there is a loud minority who are very, very angry with the way that Shane Dawson has decided to portray people in this documentary. One of the biggest YouTubers who's come out and not had a great time with it is Logan Paul, which isn't really a surprise. And Logan Paul levied some very accurate criticisms at Shane, in my personal opinion, talking about how Shane seemed to keep on confusing a psychopath and a sociopath.
He'll say the word and then show the word psychopath.
I want to talk to a psychologist if he is a sociopath.
Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you about the word psychopath.
And I want to make that clear because even in Shane's video itself, there's a couple times where he will say the word sociopath, but show something psychopathic or even show the word psychopath.
Which not only confuses the viewer, but also makes Jake Paul look like something that he may not be, or may have people think that it is synonymous with something that he really isn't. I think for me, that's what I had a problem with while watching the documentary, is the fact that they were labelling Jake Paul with something that he isn't, or trying to prove that he is something but he isn't, and it kind of gets confusing for the viewer, because you don't really know what Jake Paul is anymore. Is he going to go on a murdering spree? I don't think so. Does he not care too much about the people around him and wants to make loads of money and be successful? Yes. Yes, he does. But just because somebody has sociopathic tendencies doesn't make them a sociopath. But it doesn't mean that he's a good guy. But the reaction from it is what I personally don't agree with. Because as much as Shane should have done a better job at actually explaining what he's trying to do with this series and explaining what a sociopath and a psychopath is and which one he's going for, people are more upset because it's mean. Oh no, you can't be mean about sociopaths. Don't say that sociopaths aren't exactly the greatest people. It's a mental disorder. So, therefore, they can't help it. You're correct. People can't help that. They can't help being a sociopath. I don't think it's something that anybody would really choose. But it's real. It's a real thing. And those people exist. And they use people. And they don't care about the people that they're using. And they want to climb the ladder to be able to get to where they want to be. The whole goal of a sociopath is to self-preserve. They just want to play the game and win. And if that's what that person is, they're also a sociopath. So ironically, they probably don't care about what you have to say about them. But the idea that the problem with the documentary is that it's not very nice towards sociopaths is just something that I couldn't really get behind. I can't blame Shane for reacting the way he is to the idea that people around him may be sociopathic. I don't think it's a bad thing that he wouldn't want to be around people whose sole goal is to use him and not care about him. That seems pretty human. If you knew somebody who wasn't a sociopath who treated you like a sociopath would do, you probably wouldn't want to hang around with them anymore. The deeper issue lies with when he inserts clips like this.
There's a bar right there. Like, if we walk into that bar, there's probably, what, 100 people? So that means there's 4? Why isn't that like a...
What does that mean, Shane? Why is there a guy, like, knocking someone out or killing someone when the word sociopath comes out, because they're not going to physically harm people. It's not what sociopaths do. And I think the idea that the therapist in the Shane Dawson documentary is not the person who's getting more flack is kind of confusing. I think what Shane is doing is completely fair. He's trying to explore a narrative, he's trying to explore a storyline, and he has an end goal for it, and he is the bystander. I don't blame him at all for the way he's reacting. I don't blame him at all for even over-dramatising it, because it's a dramatic documentary. It needs to be accurate, though. That's important. I think Shane is trying to make the documentary he thinks people want. That's an issue, because I don't actually believe that he is trying to make something that he believes in. Like with TanaCon, he made what he wanted to make. He portrayed Tana the way he wanted it to. And if you don't agree with that, you don't agree with that. But I think the reason why this one is getting backlash from anyone is because he's trying to make something that he thinks people want to see from him. People want Jake Paul to be some type of nutcase. People want him to be a supervillain. And I feel like Shane is almost currently, in the 2 episodes we've seen, trying to push that agenda. Not because he necessarily wants to, but because he feels like that's what he has to do. But people saying that Shane's responses to the stuff the therapist is saying is overdramatic, I think is kind of ridiculous. And maybe I'm a bit biased because I've been through a very similar situation to the one that they're describing could possibly happen to Shane as a YouTuber. And that one experience threw me off for an entire year. I wasn't easily trusting of anybody around me, especially in a game such as YouTube where you could put a literal numerical number on a human being's head and decide whether they're worth talking to because of that. And Shane Dawson has a pretty big number over his head right now. I could totally understand why he would be freaking out and why he would double guess everybody he knows in his life. Because being a YouTuber isn't exactly a normal thing. It's not exactly something that's very ordinary. I could totally see why people on YouTube have many sociopathic tendencies. I think a lot of them do. But also, the idea that you're pushing that forward and diagnosing people yourself is not fair. Because now I think a lot of YouTubers who definitely don't deserve it, or who do something slightly wrong, are going to be labelled with this end-all term that's going to make them seem like a complete outcast and somebody who could never be trusted again. The only time that you should ever diagnose somebody like that is if they're a willing participant, or if they tell you that that's what they are. And then you stay away from them, I suppose. To summarise this video, I believe that Shane's reactions are completely fair. The idea of over-dramatising a documentary is ridiculous, and the way that people have responded is completely understandable, but also in the same time, I don't necessarily believe that Shane Dawson is completely at fault for this. I feel like it's a situation that may be too big for YouTube. I don't actually have a problem with the way that Shane necessarily is doing it. I just have a problem with the idea that not everything is accurate. He may not be portraying sociopaths and psychopaths the way he should be because of the fact that he's confusing the two, and that could lead to a very different response. People shouldn't be upset because it's mean. People should be upset because it's misrepresenting a certain group of people. That's what the problem should be. And last but not least, I'm going to leave a prediction for the way I believe this series will end, which will be Shane Dawson sitting down, staring into the distance, and somebody asks him whether he thinks that Jake Paul is a sociopath. And he will look up to the camera, and everything will cut to black. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and turn notifications on. I'd be very interested to hear what your guys' thoughts are, because I understand that my position is very different due to the experiences I've had, and also as a YouTuber myself, I may just look at this documentary completely different to somebody who may know sociopaths in their actual life, so on and so forth. So I'd be very interested to see feedback from that, and I'm going to leave it there. Until next time, have a good day, people. Peace out.